Good morning. Welcome to Morning Special. I'm your host, Sue. 여러분 안녕하세요. 4월 16일 목요일 최수진의 Morning Special입니다. A brand new Thursday morning it is. Well, from 8 to 10 a.m. every morning, upgrade your English with Morning Special through global headlines, book reviews, travel news, movies, and much, much more. 매일 아침 8시부터 10시까지 2시간 동안 스페셜한 아침을 여는 모닝 스페셜입니다. And for the day's news stories, back in the studio is the one and only Steve.
여러분 안녕하세요. 4월 16일 목요일 스티브의 뉴스입니다.
Wow, what did you do yesterday? Go on a Korean language?
I was on vacation. I'm teasing, of course. I was moving yesterday, and it was a long, very busy day. Of course, everyone knows. Moving days are very tiring, but
how did it go?
It went extremely well,
Good.
and I'm very excited to be in my new community. I love moving. Most people don't like it, but I've moved more than I think I've moved around 20 times in Korea. If not 20, or between 15 and 20. And I love it because I always feel like I'm in a new city.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, Seoul, and I moved outside of Seoul, by the way. But Seoul and even the surrounding areas, because of the subway system, right?
Yeah.
Each little community feels like its own city, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So I lived in the Yongsan Icheon area before, so that's kind of like its own town. So I learned about that for a couple of years, but now I've moved to a different place, which has its own feel and its own vibe and its own restaurants and its, you know, and I'm just really excited to be there. Yeah.
So are our listeners. Listener 유지명님 says, Steve 선생님 이사 잘 하셨길 바래요. 라고 보내셨습니다. Happy Thursday morning special 하셨고요.
Thank you very much.
그리고 조주희님은요. Steve 선생님 한국 마을로 이사 가셨나 봐요. 한국말 늘었습니다. Have you moved from an English-speaking community to a Korean-speaking community?
I guess I have. Hey, don't expect that every day, please and thank you. But thank you for the message, 주희님.
네, 그리고 전혜영님은요. Good morning, 수진쌤, 스티브쌤. Wow, 스티브 선생님 한국 사람 다 되셨네요. You become more Korean.
Yeah, maybe. Joyce filled in for me yesterday, is that correct? Thank you, Joyce, for doing that for me yesterday. Very much appreciated.
네, 어제 조이스 선생님이 스티브 선생님 대신해서 방송을 해주셨는데요. 감사합니다. Well, it's wonderful to have you back. And a lot happened yesterday. Apart from you moving, it's in our news today as well. We'll be talking briefly about the elections and, of course, a lot of other things that took place all across the world.
Yeah, we'll get caught up because I had a day yesterday where I didn't see anything about the news, of course, right? So we'll get caught up this morning.
That sounds good. Well, first things first, I'm going to give, why don't I ask you to give out the quiz?
Sure.
It's related to one of our news stories today.
Quiz question this morning. The official residence and workplace of the President of the United States is known as the blank house. Is it number 1, the America House, number 2, the Beige House, or number 3, the White House? I'll give the question one more time. The official residence and workplace of the President of the United States is known as the blank house. Is it number 1, America, number 2, beige, or number 3, white?
네, 그렇습니다. 백악관을 영어로 어떻게 표현할까요? 힌트를 좀 드리자면은 이 단어 안에 들어 있습니다. 백악관을 뭐라고 하는지 1번 America House, 2번 Beige House, 3번 White House 중에서 골라주시면 되겠습니다. 퀴즈 정답 보내주신 분들 중에 추첨을 통해서 총 3분께 EBS 5월호 어학교재 보내드리겠습니다. 보내시는 방법은요. 짧은 문자 50원, 긴 문자 100원의 샵 1045 그리고 반디 게시판은 무료로 이용 가능합니다. Okay, now with that said, let's start with today's global headlines. 세계 각국 언론사들의 어떤 헤드라인이 올라왔는지 살펴보는 시간입니다. Touch Global Headlines.
Voter turnout for the 21st parliamentary elections yesterday soared to 66.2%, the highest point in 28 years.
제21대 총선 전국 투표율이 66.2%로 28년 만에 최고치를 기록했습니다.
U.S. President Donald Trump has announced he is halting funding to the World Health Organization.
도널드 트럼프 미국 대통령이 세계보건기구 WHO에 대한 자금 지원 중단을 전격 지시했습니다.
India has extended a lockdown on its 1.3 billion people until at least next month, triggering massive protests amongst migrant workers.
인도 정부가 코로나19 확산 억제를 위해 국가 봉쇄 조치 연장을 결정하자 전국 곳곳에서 일용직 노동자가 시위에 나섰습니다.
Egyptian police have announced that 7 suspected terrorists were killed in Al Amiyira district of the capital Cairo.
이집트 경찰이 수도 카이로 동부 엘 아미리아에서 테러리스트 7명을 사살했다고 밝혔습니다. And to listen to those headlines again free of charge, please visit our website. 네, EBS 모닝 스페셜 홈페이지에 들어오시면은요, 지금 읽어드린 헤드라인을 무료로 다시 복습하실 수 있습니다. 많은 이용 바랍니다. Let's go over the headlines.
Headline number 1 this morning. Voter turnout for the 21st parliamentary elections yesterday soared to 66.2%, the highest point in 28 years.
네, 제21대 총선 전국 투표율이 66.2%로 28년 만에 최고치를 기록했습니다.
This is according to a tentative figure released by the state election body last night, and it came amid the country's months-long fight against the COVID-19 virus, which has triggered a sense of health and quarantine crises, they say, and apparently drew keen attention to politics. The reason they say that is because among 44 million eligible voters, 29.1 million cast their ballots at 14,330 different polling stations nationwide. That according to the National Election Commission, adding that the figure includes anti-coronavirus self-isolators allowed to go out briefly to vote. The NEC did say that it is not yet the final data.
If we compare this figure to 4 years ago, and of course the general elections take place every 4 years, the voter turnout back then was 58%. So if we compare this tentative figure, already it's way over that, and in fact it's the highest voter turnout in, what did you say, 28 years?
A very long time,
Yes.
yeah. This is the highest in the country's general election since the 71.9% was recorded, but that was back in 1982.
1992, I believe.
Sorry, 1992, excuse me. It was tallied at 58% in 2016, 54.2% in 2012, 46.1% in 2008, but it's the highest in a long time for sure.
네, 그렇습니다. 이렇게 4년에 한 번씩 치러지는 총선을 영어로는 quadrennial general elections라고 표현할 수도 있습니다. general elections가 총선이 되겠고요. quadrennial 그러면은 4년에 한 번씩이라는 의미가 되겠습니다. And the high turnout, 66.2%, this includes the number of voters that voted ahead of time. Last Friday and Saturday, we had something called the early voting.
Yeah, and they say that that's proving to be very successful. Does that go back to 2012, 2014?
Yes.
2012, right, is when they introduced the early ballot system. And they say that because they had a huge turnout, 11 million people actually voted in advance last Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
And they're saying it's proving how successful it is.
Indeed. So we're sort of spanning out the number of voting days, and this has been, you know, in place in Korea for quite some time now. Countries around the world are actually saying this is a good idea. Maybe we should use this in our country as well.
Yeah, I mean, why not give people more of an opportunity to vote? If something happened on Wednesday, yesterday, which was the actual voting day, where someone was, you know, really sick or something like that, for whatever reason couldn't make it out,
Yeah.
you just provide extra days for people to go and exercise their right to vote.
Exactly. And also with the whole social distancing, this actually worked in its favor because it was already in place from many years back, but people didn't want to all go into the voting polls and booths at once. And so spreading out those days for several days was a very good idea.
That makes sense too. Yeah, and the turnout was really high. I saw some posts on social media, people saying they went early in the morning expecting to be the first person to show up, and what they saw
They
was
weren't.
a long lineup
Yeah.
waiting for them already.
Absolutely.
And they say too that this reflected people's increased interest in politics, in part due to the coronavirus outbreak. The number of daily infections has been relatively low in recent weeks, as well as the national social distancing campaign that is still in place. But according to Yu Yong-hwa, who is a professor at Hankuk University of Foreign Studies in Seoul, the professor said a large number of people appear to have gone to the polls with the perception that their voting can play an important role in overcoming the national crisis of COVID-19.
네, 그렇습니다. 그리고 어제부터 오늘 아침까지 제가 확인해 본 바로는 많은 외신에서 이 한국의 총선에 대한 기사, 특집 기사를 냈는데요. I read a lot of papers from around the world focusing on the elections in Korea because, you know, right now the whole world is going through the COVID-19 crisis. And so they were very curious to know what the process was going to look like, how it went, and just to give our listeners who did not take part because they're not a Korean national like yourself. So I went there, and the first thing you do is you sanitize your hands. They give you disposable gloves, so you put them on.
Okay.
And then you do the voting, of course, very quick, very efficient, and you're out of there in about, 5 minutes. It's very quick indeed. And then the self-isolators, they were not there at the same time as the rest of the nation. So they were only allowed to go and vote after 6 p.m. So the actual voting time was 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Oh, so after the polls closed for everyone else,
Yes.
then the self-isolators could come out.
And how they
Interesting.
did it was the nation, the government right now has a list of the self-isolators. They were all contacted separately. And they had to say at what time they were going to go to which polling booth. And so everything was monitored in that sense.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is very efficient and very
Exactly.
organized.
Yeah.
Foreign media outlets were commenting on that, were they?
Yes, they were. And after the voting ended, self-isolators had to report back to whichever district they live in and say they had arrived back home within 1 hour of the actual voting
That's
to
pretty.
make sure that they're, safe.
That seems pretty impressive to
Yeah,
me.
exactly.
The level of organization.
Indeed. So, as you mentioned, they're very high voter rating, voter turnout, I should say. And just looking at some of the results, it's going to be out in the Korean papers all day today. A total of 300 seats were up for grabs. And so far, we're looking at about 98.6% of those counted, a majority of them going to the
ruling party?
Ruling party, thank you very much. Yes, indeed. Okay, let's go on to our second headline.
Headline number 2 this morning. U.S. President Donald Trump has announced he is halting funding to the World Health Organization.
도널드 트럼프 미국 대통령이 세계보건기구 WHO에 대한 자금 지원 중단을 전격 지시했습니다.
The reaction to this from countries around the world is not good, and we'll get to that in a little while. But first, the news. U.S. President Donald Trump's move to halt funding to the World Health Organization over its handling of the coronavirus pandemic prompted condemnation on Wednesday from world leaders who appealed for cooperation and unity. His decision to withdraw the funding from the WHO, it follows a pattern of skepticism of world organizations that began well before the coronavirus pandemic. Trump has questioned U.S. funding to the UN. He's withdrawn from global climate agreements. He attacked the World Trade Organization, claiming all were ripping off the United States.
네, 그렇습니다. halt funding 그러면은 자금 지원을 중단한다 이런 의미가 되겠습니다. 미국이 WHO에 더 이상 자금을 지원하지 않겠다라고 밝힌 것인데요. 물론 이제 한시적으로 WHO가 지금까지 코로나 바이러스와 관련된 조치를 제대로 취했느냐 그 조사를 진행하는 동안에는 자금 지원을 중단한다고 이렇게 단서를 붙이기는 했습니다만 가장 큰 후원국이기 때문에 타격이 좀 있을 것으로 그렇게 전문가들은 내다보고 있습니다. Why don't we also look at the overall tally of cases and deaths?
Yeah, the confirmed coronavirus cases now has topped 2 million around the world. 2,075,528 cases and 134,286 cases, deaths, have been confirmed as of 8 a.m. this morning. In America, 641,813 cases confirmed. 28,443 deaths have been confirmed as well. And if you watch the press conferences with President Trump these days, this is just my takeaway. But in the beginning, it seems like reporters were asking their questions to President Trump in a very calm manner. But now it seems like the reporters at his press briefings are becoming a lot more aggressive with their questions. And to me, that's representative with the level of frustration that people are starting to feel.
Yeah.
And they want explanations from the president, from President Trump, as to why things were done the way that they were done.
In a way, Trump seems to be blaming the WHO for that. He's saying, had the WHO named this a global pandemic earlier, had it taken the appropriate quote-unquote measures, then the US would have done something sooner too, is what he's saying.
That's right. So he says that the WHO had promoted China's quote-unquote disinformation about the virus that likely led to a wider outbreak than otherwise would have occurred. This is what President Trump said. He said the WHO failed in this basic duty and must be held accountable. And he said that while he was having one of his news conferences at the White House on Tuesday.
네, 그렇습니다. 트럼프 대통령은요, WHO 세계보건기구에 적절치 못했던 처음 여러 가지 판단들 때문에 미국에서도 이렇게 봉쇄령이 늦게 내려졌고 사망자가 많이 발생하고 확진자가 많이 나온 것이다 라고 하면서 그동안에 너무 돈을 많이 내왔지만 지금은 이제 더 이상 후원을 자금을 지원하지 않겠다라고 하면서 이제 WHO에 대한 비난을 쏟았습니다.
Some of the reactions from around the world, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said now is the time for unity and for the international community to work together in solidarity. China, a reaction from China, Foreign Ministry spokesman Zhao Lijian said the decision weakens the WHO's capability and harms international cooperation. EU Foreign Policy Chief Joseph Borrell said on Twitter, deeply regret U.S. decision to suspend funding to WHO. There is no reason justifying this move. German Foreign Minister Heiko Maas had similar words, saying the virus knows no border. New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern said, at a time like this, we need to be sharing information and we need to have advice we can rely on. But there was a little bit of support from Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison, who said that he did sympathize with Trump's criticisms of the WHO, especially its what he called unfathomable support of the reopening of China's wet markets. So it wasn't all bad, I suppose, for President Trump, but most countries' reactions to this cut in funding saying that they didn't think it was a good idea.
네, 그렇습니다. 미국의 이런 발표에 따른 반응을 지금 스티브 선생님이 얘기해 줬는데요. 일단은 UN 사무총장은 Now is the time for unity. 지금은 우리가 연대를 해야 될 때다라고 비난을 했고요. 그다음에 중국, EU, 독일, 뉴질랜드 등등 전 세계의 이제 지도자들과 지도층들은 굉장히 유감스럽다. We deeply regret. 라는 표현을 썼습니다. 호주 총리는요, 그러나 미국의 이런 결정에 이해를 할 수 있다는 입장을 보였습니다. 그동안에 이제 WHO에 대한 또 비판을 한 것으로 이렇게 보여집니다. Okay, let's go on to our third headline.
India has extended a lockdown on its 1.3 billion people until at least next month, triggering massive protests among migrant workers.
인도 정부가 코로나19 확산 억제를 위해 국가 봉쇄 조치 연장을 결정하자 전국 곳곳에서 일용직 노동자가 시위에 나섰습니다.
India extended a lockdown on its 1.3 billion people until at least May 3rd on Tuesday. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi said economic sacrifices were needed to save lives as the number of coronavirus cases exceeded 10,000. Now the number of cases in India stands at 12,322 with 400 405 deaths. Sharp downward revisions to economic growth forecasts in the wake of this pandemic point towards surging unemployment, but Modi urged Indians to maintain the discipline shown in the first 3 weeks of the lockdown. He said that means until May 3rd, each and every one of us will have to remain in the lockdown. From an economic-only point of view, it undoubtedly looks costly right now, but measured against the lives of Indian citizens, there is no comparison itself.
네, 그렇습니다. 인도에서요, 국가 봉쇄 조치가 원래는 4월 14일까지로 예정이 됐었는데 5월 3일까지 일단 연장을 했습니다. 그랬더니 이제 많은 그 일용직 노동자들이 특히 아직 고향에 돌아가지 못한 경우가 참 많다고 하는데요. 시위에 나섰고 이 시위가 격렬해지자 이제 전문가들은 이 시위 때문에 코로나가 더 확산할 수도 있다라고 우려를 표하고 있습니다. A lot of the people that took part in the protests, they're actually not in their hometowns
Yeah,
because they go and work in different places.
You remember we talked about this on the show last month when Modi made this announcement, and I think we saw the visuals on Ebs Radio as well, where people were trying to get on a limited number of buses.
Yeah.
They were crammed onto these buses. There were people on the roofs of these buses because they were simply trying to get to their hometowns.
Right.
And that's exactly what these protests were about as well. Later in Mumbai, thousands of jobless migrant workers gathered at a railway station demanding to be allowed to travel to their homes in the countryside. And police, they felt that they had to deal with this. They said that since trains and buses are not operational, these protesters were making noise. We needed to disperse them. And the police were forced to baton charge them, in other words, to get physical with the protesters.
Yes, indeed. For the past couple of weeks, a lot of these workers have been just living on the streets because they were not able to leave the cities they were in and go home. They're out of food, and that's what the protest was about. But as you said, it got physical. And health experts are now saying because of this protest, we could see another surge in coronavirus patients.
Yes, exactly. So we'll have to see. I mean, hopefully, just from a humanity point of view, we hope that these people can get to their hometowns, and if not, at least find shelter and food.
Indeed. The current count for corona cases in India stands at 12,322. Let's check our final headline.
Headline number 4 this morning, Egyptian police have announced that 7 suspected terrorists were killed in Al Amiyira district in the capital, Cairo.
이집트 경찰이 수도 카이로 동부 엘 아미리아에서 테러리스트 7명을 사살했다고 밝혔습니다.
An Egyptian policeman and 7 suspected militants were killed late on Tuesday in an exchange of gunfire after the Ministry of Interior received information about potential Easter attacks against Coptic Christians. This, according to the ministry, it said 3 other policemen had also been wounded in the fight as well.
네, 그렇습니다. 오는 19일 Coptic Christians라고 하는 콥트 기독교라고 하네요. 이 콥트 기독교의 부활절을 앞두고 있다고 합니다. 그래서 이제 인도에서는 이슬람 극단주의 세력들이 이 콥트교를 겨냥한 테러를 계획하고 있었다는 소식이 전해지면서 이렇게 테러리스트 7명을 붙잡고 결국은 이제 사살을 했다고 하는데요. 콥트교인들은 이제 인도가 아닌데 죄송합니다. 이집트 인구의 10% 정도라고 합니다.
Yeah, it's an Orthodox denomination, and like you said, 10% of Egypt's more than 100 million inhabitants. They are the Middle East's largest Christian community, and of course they celebrate Easter in April. And 2 private television stations, they broadcast what they said was footage of the shooting. Reuters, the media outlet, was not immediately able to verify that. The stations were asking people to stay indoors. They found weapons and ammunition at the scene. That's according to the ministry. Obviously a tragic event.
네, 그렇습니다. 지난 2017년에도 이슬람 극단주의 세력이 콥트교인들을 대상으로 테러를 벌여서 그 당시에 48명이 사망했습니다. Those were our headlines this morning. Let's remind our listeners of the quiz.
The official residence and workplace of the President of the United States is known as the blank house. Is it number 1, America House, number 2, Beige House, or number 3, White House?
네, 계속 정답 보내주세요. 총 3분께 추첨을 통해서 EBS 5월호 어학교재 보내드리겠습니다. 블론디의 신나는 노래로 오늘 시작해 볼까요? Maria 듣고 와서 여러분의 사연과 뉴스 포커스 살펴보겠습니다.
She moves like she don't care. Smooth as silk, cool as air. Ooh, it makes you wanna cry. She doesn't know your name, and your heart beats like a subway train. Ooh, it makes you wanna die. Ooh, don't you wanna take her? Wanna make her all your own. Maria, you've gotta see her. Go insane and out of your mind. Regina, Ave Maria. A million and one candlelights. I've seen this thing before in my best friend and the boy next door. Fool for love and fool on fire. One coming from the rain. She's oceans running down the drain. Blue as ice and desire. Don't you wanna make her? Ooh, don't you wanna take her home? Maria, you've gotta see her. Go insane and out of your mind. Regina, Ave Maria. A million and one candlelights. Ooh, don't you wanna break her? Ooh, don't you wanna take her home? She walks like she don't care, walking on imported air. Ooh, it makes you wanna die. Maria, you've gotta see her. Go insane and out of your mind. Regina, Ave Maria. A million and one candlelights. You've gotta see her. Go insane and out of your mind. Regina, Ave Maria. A million and one candlelights. Maria, you've gotta see her.
Steve, did you watch the movie 200 Pounds Beauty?
Oh,
Korean
the
movie.
Korean movie.
미녀는 괴로워.
Yeah, no, I don't think I've ever seen it, but I know that song was the main song from the film, right?
김아중, she
Yeah,
sang it. It
I
was
remember.
amazing.
Yeah, that was a long time ago that movie came out, right?
Yeah, I think it was in 2006, so it's been well over a decade. Can't believe it.
2006 was 14 years ago.
Oh my goodness.
It's crazy, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Let's check your messages. 이은진 님이요. 쌤들 good morning. 여기는 캘리포니아 샌디에이고입니다.
Oh, what did you teach me? 부러워.
부러워요.
부럽다.
와. 네, 코로나에도 불구하고 오늘은 햇살이 너무 따스하고 좋습니다. 스티브 선생님, 새로운 둥지 잘 가꾸시고요. 좋은 일만 많이 생기시길 바라요. 하셨습니다.
됐거든요. 나도 샌디에고에서 사고 싶은데요.
정말 하루 사이에 우리말이 굉장히 많이 늘었어요, 선생님. 와우. 네, 둥지 means nest. Enjoy your new nest.
Oh, that's a fun expression. Enjoy the new nest. Thank you, Injin님.
네.
Enjoy the weather in
San
sunny
Diego.
Southern California. Since it's Steve Speaks Korean today, can I try the next message?
Sure.
Okay, Kim Ariom님 says, 와, 스티브쌤 이사 축하해요. 사실 저도 이번 주말에 이사를 앞두고 있어요. 이사하는 것이 마음에 듣다니 축하드려요. That one's always hard for me.
Yeah.
드려요.
Yeah.
이사한 곳에서 좋은 일만 생기길 바래요.
네, 와, 너무 잘 읽으셨어요.
감사합니다.
I have trouble reading sometimes as well. I think you're better than me.
That pronunciation of 축하 the
려
and then
is-
the 려
Yeah.
is hard for
I
me.
have trouble with those 려s and 랴s and yo's sometimes too.
그 이번 주말에 그 새로운 동네에서 첫 번째 하고 싶은 거 뭔지 아세요?
Wait, sorry. I mean, I'll answer that question, but I've known you for many years. I've never heard you speak so much Korean in one sentence
I
before.
started in Korean
Wow.
so this morning, so why not keep it going only for today?
Okay, so to answer your question, no, I have no idea what you're going to do this weekend.
제일 맛있는 치킨집 찾고 싶어요.
아, 네. 어느 동네인지는 말씀을 드릴 순 없지만 그 동네에서 이제 제일 맛있는 치킨집을 잘 찾아보겠다고 합니다.
When you move to, it's true though, when you move to a new place, you gotta find the best pizza place, you gotta find the best chicken place, and then you have to find the best Korean places, of course, right? So over the next few weeks to come,
Yeah.
I will be researching the restaurants in the
그렇군요.
neighborhood. Yes.
네, 치킨 배달 잘 받으시고요. 박지영 님이요. 좋은 아침입니다. 오늘은 드디어 기다리던 개학일입니다. 비록 온라인이지만 저희 아이들은 지금 신나서 모스 들으며 대기 중이에요. 얼른 코로나가 종식되고 학교 갈 수 있기를 바라봐요. 모든 아이들 엄마들 화이팅입니다 하셨어요. Yep, today is back to school day. I say that with very loosely because students will be in front of their monitors at home. It's an online start to the semester for first and second years of high school, first and second years of middle school, and elementary school students, grades 4 to 6.
Best of luck to everyone, to the students and to the teachers and to the parents as well.
네, 그렇습니다. Best of luck. 모두 화이팅입니다. Well, keep sending in your messages and questions or suggestions. If you have the answer to the quiz, send that in as well. We have 3 EBS 5월호 어학교재s to give away during the first hour. Let's now check our news focus stories. 자, 첫 번째 news focus 살펴보겠습니다. 코로나19의 충격으로 올해 전 세계 경기 침체가 예상되지만 유일하게 두 자릿수 폭풍 성장이 점쳐지는 곳이 있는데요. 바로 남미의 작은 나라 가이아나입니다. Let's listen to the story.
Guyana is expected to see an overall economic growth of 51.7% for this year, with further projections over the next 2 years. The World Bank said oil production is projected to boost the country's GDP growth to an unprecedented level this year, but also warned that while this could transform Guyana, there are risks compounded by falling oil prices and the COVID-19 pandemic. President David Granger did say, however, his government is better equipped to provide proper personal protective equipment for the medical staff carrying out testing and treatment, along with much needed materials and equipment.
네, 가이아나는요, 남미에 있는 작은 나라예요. 그런데 이제 중남미 지역 전체적으로 봤을 때는 올해 마이너스 5.2%의 성장이 예상되는데 유일하게 가이아나는 50% 이상의 성장이 기대가 되는 나라입니다. 와우.
Yeah, I've never been there before. A beautiful place, I've heard. And they mentioned in this article that, it's a huge economic growth for the country, right? 51.7%
Yep.
for the year. That's almost unheard of. But they do warn that there are risks. Of course, one of those major risks is the COVID-19 pandemic. and also falling oil prices. And we've talked about that briefly on the show. Cheap oil is great for us on a personal level here at the pump when we go to the gas station, but the economy overall, when oil prices get too low, it's not good for the world's economy.
It's not. However, for this particular country, they just started exporting oil from their country. So it's not like their prices will go down because this is the first time they're doing it. And it's going to be a big plus for them. 가이아나에서는요, 몇 년 전에 처음으로 이제 유전이 발견이 됐습니다. 그리고 올해 초부터 원유 수출을 처음 시작을 했어요. 그래서 이것이 어쩌면 이제 그 성장 전망의 비결이 아닐까 이렇게 보고 있습니다.
Yeah, so they say that this could transform the country, probably will transform the country, but there are risks that are compounded by falling oil prices and the COVID-19 pandemic. So if something is compounded, it's when a problem is made worse. And I'll give you an easy example. Let's say that you, or not, hopefully not you, someone was having a financial difficulty.
Okay.
And then that someone, they're already having a problem with finances, but then they lose their job. Well, losing their job makes that first situation worse. So B compounds A. A is bad, and when B happens, it makes it worse. So you already had the financial difficulty, but then you lost your job. Someone lost their job. And when they did that, or when it happened, it compounded the original financial difficulties.
아, 그렇군요. 여기서의 그러니까 compound라는 것은 앞에 나온 단어를 더 크게 만들다. 이 경우에는 좀 악화한다라는 의미로 보면 될 것 같아요.
Let's say that you are wondering if your partner is faithful to you. You're worried about that. You're stressed about that. And then they are out with their friends. And you call and you text, but they don't answer the phone and they don't return the text. Well, your original fear is now compounded by the non-answered phone calls.
네, 원래 이 compounded 동사로서 쓰이는 이 단어는요. 그러니까 뭔가 합쳐지다라는 의미가 됩니다. 그래서 합쳐져서 더 악화되다라는 종합적인 의미를 보시면 될 것 같고요. 이제 코로나 때문에 그다음에 이제 하락하고 있는 뭐 기름값 등등으로 인해서 이게 성장 전망이 예상되지만 뭐 그래도 어떻게 될지는 아직 잘 모르겠다. 악화될 수도 있다라는 거죠.
But President David Granger said that his government is doing quite well. They're better equipped to properly provide personal protective equipment along with the much needed materials. So if something is much needed, this is a pretty self-explanatory expression. It means that you really need this thing, but it's a fancy way to use it. I'll give you some sentence examples. If you are out working in the field all day, you're sweaty, you're tired, you go home, you feel like you need what?
A shower.
A shower. So you take a much needed shower. So when I got home, I took a much needed shower. If you get home and you're really sleepy, then what do you need?
You need a nap.
Yes, so I took a much needed nap after I got home. One last example.
Yep.
You've been working for months and 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 you need a break. So
You go on a much needed vacation.
yeah, you go on a much needed vacation. It's a very fancy way of saying something that you really need.
네, 절실하다라는 뜻이 있어요. 그래서 정말 필요한 much needed가 여기서 쓰였습니다. Let's listen to the story one more time.
Guyana is expected to see an overall economic growth of 51.7% for this year, with further projections over the next 2 years. The World Bank said oil production is projected to boost the country's GDP growth to an unprecedented level this year, but also warned that while this could transform Guyana, there are risks compounded by falling oil prices and the COVID-19 pandemic. President David Granger did say, however, his government is better equipped to provide proper personal protective equipment for the medical staff carrying out testing and treatment, along with much-needed materials and equipment.
자, 두 번째 뉴스 포커스로 필리핀 가보겠습니다. 세계 2위 바나나 수출국인 필리핀의 대다수 지역이 코로나19 확산 예방을 위해 봉쇄되면서 아시아 지역에 대한 바나나 공급에 차질이 발생할 우려가 나오고 있습니다. Let's listen to the story.
The coronavirus pandemic may limit supplies of bananas in Asia, as growers in the Philippines, the world's second biggest exporter, said overseas shipments may drop by nearly 40% this year as lockdowns curb output and transport. Bananas have to be harvested every day, said Alberto Bacani, president of Unifruti Philippines. By the time we come back, a lot of that fruit will be spoiled and will have to be thrown away. The Philippines accounted for an estimated 20% of global banana shipments in 2019 and about 90% of total export volumes in Asia.
네, 필리핀에서 작년에만 400만 톤 정도의 바나나를 수출했다고 하는데요. 올해는 지금 예상되는 양이 한 250만 톤, 상당히 많이 감소할 것으로 그렇게 예상된다고 합니다.
This makes me think that we are going to maybe see bananas become very expensive here in Korea.
Maybe, yeah.
I'm not sure where Korea gets its bananas from, but if they come from the Philippines, maybe some of them do. Then maybe we can expect to see higher prices at the supermarket.
Yeah, and the reason it's going to be harder to see the bananas is because of a lot of the lockdowns and shutdowns in the Philippines, and normally you have to ship bananas every single day, not once a month or anything like that.
Yeah, it's because they are perishable. Perishable, it's not in the story, but it's a word that means it doesn't have a long shelf life.
Yeah.
And they do have to be harvested every day. And that's what Alberto Bacani said, because the fruit will spoil. So, spoiled. S-P-O-I-L-E-D. We hear about this word. Sometimes maybe we think children. We talk about children. If they get everything they want, that an easy example would be grandparents. Grandparents always spoil their grandchildren, right? They give them all kinds of attention. They give them all the gifts they want.
Yeah.
But in
This is used in an affectionate way, though, you know, when you say that.
Yes, it
Yeah.
could be good or it could be bad, but that's not the context of this story. In this story, it means when food goes bad. That's how we put it. When you can't eat it anymore, it goes bad. And the word for goes bad is spoiled. So if you leave a banana on your counter, I was going to say sofa, on your counter, don't leave bananas on your sofa.
No.
After 1 day, it gets a little brown. 2 days, even browner. 4 or 5 days, it's black, and then it's spoiled.
맞아요. 음식이 상할 때 spoiled 된다라고 표현을 할 수 있습니다. 또 앞서서 스티브 선생님이 bananas don't have a long shelf life라고 했는데요. shelf life라는 거는 보통 이제 유통기한을 말해요. 바나나가 유통기한이 길지 않기 때문에 보통 매일매일 수출을 하는 게 가장 바람직한데 그럴 수 있는 여건이 지금 아닙니다. 그래서 이렇게 바나나가 쉽게 상하고 그래서 버려야 할 수도 있고 그래서 이제 결국은 수출량이 많이 줄어들 것이다 이런 뜻이 되겠죠?
Yeah, but if a banana spoils, I think you can still make banana bread. But if milk spoils, throw it away. And that's our second expression here. They say with the fruit, with bananas, they will be spoiled and they will have to be thrown away. To throw something away is a physical action. It means to throw it in the garbage because you are not going to use it. I'm sure when you move, like I did, some things you donate, like a lot of clothing, but other things you just throw away.
버리다라는 뜻이 되겠습니다. 그리고 이제 앞서서 매일매일 바나나를 이제 수확해야 된다라는 것으로 다시 또 설명을 드리겠습니다.
There is a figurative meaning of this expression. I'll come back to that for our expression of the day.
Okay, let's listen to this story one more time.
The coronavirus pandemic may limit supplies of bananas in Asia, as growers in the Philippines, the world's second biggest exporter, said overseas shipments may drop by nearly 40% this year as lockdowns curb output and transport. Bananas have to be harvested every day, said Alberto Bacani, president of Unifruti Philippines. By the time we come back, a lot of that fruit will be spoiled and will have to be thrown away. The Philippines accounted for an estimated 20% of global banana shipments in 2019 and about 90% of total export volumes in Asia.
Let's remind our listeners of the quiz again.
The official residence and workplace of the President of the United States is known as the blank house. Number 1, America. Number 2, beige. Or number 3, white.
네, 계속 정답 보내주세요. 총 3분께 추첨을 통해서 EBS 5어로 어학교재 보내드리겠습니다.
Do you want a clue?
Yeah.
Me.
What? Okay. All right.
Tell you later.
Let's listen to Dua Lipa, Blow Your Mind. We'll be right back.
I know it's hard. I know we got something that money can buy. Fighting in fits, biting your lip, loving till late in the night. Tell me I'm too crazy, you can't tame me, can't tame me. Tell me I have changed, but I'm the same me, same me. Inside. If you don't like the way I talk, then why am I on your mind? If you don't like the way I rock, then finish your glass of wine. We fight and we argue, you'll still love me blind. If we don't fuck this whole thing up, guaranteed I can blow your mind. And tonight I'm alive in a dollar sign, guaranteed I can blow your mind. And tonight I'm alive in a dollar sign, guaranteed I can blow your mind. Yeah, I'm so bad. That's the truth, hey. I guess you're digging the show. Open the door. You want some more. When you wanna leave, let me know. Tell me I'm too crazy. You can't tame me, can't tame me. Tell me I have changed, but I'm the same me, same me. Inside. If you don't like the way I talk, then why am I on your mind? If you don't like the way I rock, then finish your glass of wine. We fight and we argue, you'll still love me blind. If we don't fuck this whole thing up, guaranteed I can blow your mind. And tonight I'm alive in a dollar sign, guaranteed I can blow your mind. Tonight I'm alive in a dollar sign, guaranteed I can blow your mind. Tell me I'm too crazy, you can't tame me, can't tame me. Tell me I have changed, but I'm the same me, oh same me. Inside. If you don't like the way I talk, then why am I on your mind? If you don't like the way I rock, then finish your glass of wine. We fight and we argue, you'll still love me blind. If we don't fuck this whole thing up, guaranteed I can blow your mind. And tonight I'm alive in a dollar sign, guaranteed I can blow your mind. And tonight I'm alive in a dollar sign, guaranteed I can blow your mind.
And we're back. Let's take a look at our third news focus story. 자, 마지막 뉴스 포커스입니다. 버락 오바마 전 미국 대통령이 사실상 민주당 대선 후보가 된 조 바이든 전 부통령에 대해 지지 선언을 했습니다. 8년간 백악관에서 동고동락한 오랜 친구의 손을 공개적으로 들어준 건데요. Let's listen to the story.
Former U.S. President Barack Obama endorsed Joe Biden, his two-term vice president, in the race for the White House. Choosing Joe to be my vice president was one of the best decisions I ever made, and he became a close friend. And I believe Joe has all the qualities we need in a president right now, as Obama said in a video posted to Twitter. Biden said in a tweet that Obama's endorsement means the world to me. We're going to build on the progress we made together, and there's no one I'd rather have standing by my side.
Former President Obama has endorsed Joe Biden, the former vice president. 지지 선언을 했습니다.
Yes, I believe President Trump was asking in the days before, why hasn't Obama endorsed him yet? But then I read another story saying that the timing for an endorsement, they're quite particular about their timings. So I guess Obama was waiting for the right time. And now he has come out and he has endorsed Joe Biden. He has said that he thinks he will make a great president.
그렇습니다. 앞서서 버니 샌더스도 인도스를 했어요. 근데 이제 이 인도스먼트가 가지고 있는 의미는 그동안에 뭐 예를 들자면은 버니 샌더스를 지지했던 사람들 아니면은 뭐 버락 오바마를 지지했던 사람들이 이제는 그 공식 인도스먼트를 통해서 아마 그 표가 조 바이든에게 갈 수도 있겠죠.
When we talked about the fact that Bernie Sanders dropped out of the race, we mentioned that one of the keys for Biden would be to win over Sanders supporters.
Yeah.
Well, now he doesn't have to worry about that anymore because Bernie Sanders himself has endorsed Joe Biden along with former President Obama, and Biden is very appreciative of this, and he says that Obama's endorsement means the world to me. If something, this is a very, very, very nice expression, and we use it when we want to express how meaningful something is and how appreciative you are. So if your coworkers throw you a birthday party and they buy a nice cake for you and they get a gift for you and you're really touched and you feel, oh my goodness, that was so kind, then you can say, thank you. That means the world to me.
정말 큰 의미가 있습니다. 라는 뜻으로 보통 이렇게 감사할 때 많이 쓰죠. That means the world to me. 나에게 정말 세상을 안긴 것 같이 고마운 그런 일입니다.
It has to be something where you feel very emotional.
Yeah.
Because if Sue goes and gets me a coffee, says, here, I got you an Americano, and I say, Sue, that means the world to me. It's a little too...
I would probably say, are you all right,
Yeah,
Steve?
exactly. Because it's too dramatic,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But if someone endorses you to be the president of the United States, that's a big deal. Therefore, you can say that means the world to me.
네, 그렇습니다. 보통은 이제 정말 감사할 때 쓴다는 거, that means the world to me라고 표현을 할 수 있고요. Standing by someone's side is again something you can say when you appreciate
Support,
them.
yeah. Thank you for supporting me.
맞아요. 제 옆에 이렇게 지지를 해줘서 너무 감사하다. 다른 누구보다 의미 있다. 이렇게 화답했습니다. Let's listen to the story one more time.
Former U.S. President Barack Obama endorsed Joe Biden, his two-term vice president, in the race for the White House. Choosing Joe to be my vice president was one of the best decisions I ever made, and he became a close friend. And I believe Joe has all the qualities we need in a president right now, Obama said in a video posted to Twitter. Biden said in a tweet that Obama's endorsement means the world to me. We're going to build on the progress we made together, and there's no one I'd rather have standing by my side.
Now I'm going to be a bit over dramatic, melodramatic and say it would mean the world to me if you could announce today's quiz answer, Steve.
Happy to oblige. The official residence and workplace of the President of the United States is known as the blank house. Number 1, America. Number 2, beige. Number 3, white. The answer is white, the White House.
네, 3번이 정답이고요. 제가 정답 발표해 주세요 하면서 it would mean the world to me라고 했을 때 스티브 선생님이 웃었잖아요. 왜냐하면 사실 이런 상황에 쓰는 표현이 아니기 때문입니다. 자, 3번 정답 맞춰주신 이소현님, 정설아님, 그리고 홍보연님, EBS 5월호 어학교재 보내드리겠습니다. Steve, what's the expression of the day?
Let's do the figurative meaning of throw away.
Okay.
So the literal meaning, just like in the context of the story, was bananas, right? If you look in your fridge and you find some expired food, then you should throw it away.
Yeah.
But we can use this about opportunities in a figurative sense. So let's say that you have a job offer in, pick a great place.
Switzerland.
In Switzerland. What is the job?
It's to head the United Nations.
Okay. Now we know that Sue Sunsenim loves hosting Morning Special. We love having her host Morning Special. But as a group, what should we say to Sue? Here is an amazing opportunity to be the head of the United Nations. Sue, you cannot throw away that opportunity. And what that means is you have this fantastic chance, and if you throw it away, it means you don't take it.
네, 예문을 하나 드렸어요. 이제 throw away라는 것은 물건만 버리는 게 아니라 기회를 내가 자진해서 빵 차버렸을 때 이럴 때도 throw away an opportunity라고 할 수 있습니다. Obviously, though, I didn't think through my example, so
Don't worry. Nobody really thought you got an offer to be the head of the UN.
good. I'm glad everyone got that. It's clarified. All right. Well, thank you so much, Steve. And you being on the show really does mean the world to me.
Oh, it means the world to me that you would have me every single day. Have a wonderful day today, and I'll be back again tomorrow.
All right. Well, coming up in the second hour of Morning Special, we have Say What and also our movie segment with Lara. And taking us there now is My Sharona by The Knack. I'll see you on the flip side.